Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 20th of May. So looking at the euro dollar first, and well, it's continuing its rollover at the moment. I probably should take that trend line off there now, but continuing the move to the downside. Next potential on the downside there probably is about that 11.35 area, and then on to back towards the lows at 11.13.5. So got some movement to do there. So it does look weak. As I said, for a long time the euro is fundamentally weak. It's when it does have its rallies, it's normally on the basis of the US dollar selling off for whatever reason. Here we are on the 4 hours selling. You just see lower highs, lower lows. It's weak. It's not looking great at the moment from a daily point of view. Well, congratulations, Ollie, if you just held out and left your trade on Friday. He was looking for that S1 area at 11.51. It just seemed to die, the euro on Friday. Didn't really do too much. It's where to now then? Well, it's pinched all day today with the pivots. We have got a weekly pivot above. If we was to break the daily pivot there and start moving, maybe it would be a half decent target. We'd need something solid to give that move, and there's nothing news-wise today until 6 o'clock this evening, before we got sort of 5:30 and 6 this afternoon, before we got a couple of speakers. So nothing significant there at the moment, but not even any lines. I just don't really want to be trading the euro at the moment. There we go. The pound. Well, the pound's been a clearer sell point. Talked about it last week. Mostly it's a sell, and it remains a sell at the moment, really. It has got a weekly pivot above there at 28.19 sort of territory. A rally back to that would be a nice sell point. And it's, look at what a week. It's the only thing is, unless you sort of manage to get one of the small retracements that sort of sat there through that week, or a breakdown of the trends at the little consolidation phases, it was pretty difficult. It hasn't, I mean, apart from on was that Wednesday, it was the only day it really sort of almost pulled back towards its daily pivot there. And it's an unusual scene here, where we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 daily pivot misses, but it's made sure it's hit it today. So very rare case. Where to? Well, we could be drawing lines across the lows here. I do like drawing my lines, as I'll probably come on to soon on a video that I've got ready. But it could well be continuing in that sell-off point of view. Where to? Well, just watch the price action as it rolls over. You really need to come back to the dailies, maybe, for some sort of bigger targets to be aimed at. I'm just looking, is there anything nicer? But the daily targets, maybe we could be seeing right back towards its S3 area, towards those lows there that we saw before, the 125 area, maybe even more, as the way it's rolling at the moment. Okay, that's the pound. I know there'll be people wanting to buy it, and probably deep in it. I'm trying to buy it and holding on to some nice losses at the moment. But for me, it's not the time. Okay, that's the pound, and let's move on. Dollar yen. Now, dollar yen, the yen's softened again this week, last week even. It managed to show its colours a little bit. The only thing is, you look at this from a daily point of view, it looks like a flag pattern. Bear flag, looks like it could roll from there. Well, it managed to break out of its range. I think it was Wednesday, Thursday time. Pulled back, tested this sort of upside of that, and eventually moved back away from that. So it's an unusual way from the wedge. That was a bearish wedge. It normally breaks to the other side, but put a higher low in, broke the highs there, and well, just price action, higher lows, higher highs. So where to? Well, it's not the clearest here at the moment. It's got its daily pivot below. Always would like to see that out the way first. If it does come back to that, well, it could be a buy point for the dollar against the yen there. So see how that runs. Otherwise, maybe just a trend line across the highs here. Look for the break for continuation. It's a little ball flag that sits there. So there we go. Yen looking like there's more upside, but always a little bit wary because of the risk trade. Aussie dollar, well, the Aussie dollar has largely been selling off. We've seen it gap up today, but how long that will last we'll see. Gapped up over the weekend there. Of course there's the election, so that's the reason why it gapped up. I'm just looking at thinking, what the hell's that gapped up even for? Well, there's some joy at the moment, and well, we'll see what that's going to bring, but realistically it's got a nice daily pivot sitting there waiting below it. We'll see how joyous it remains, but there's fundamentally nothing changed in real terms. The economy is still the way the economy is, and unless things have changed really quickly, it may well dip down there some more, but we'll see. Maybe there's a lot of selling going on the on expectation and buying thereafter, buying the news. So that's where we are at the moment, but I would look for points of sell. As I say, not a lot fundamentally changed there. Canadian dollar remains in a very tight range here on the dailies, and it's a range bound trade. That's all that can really be done with it at the moment. Maybe trade it back to its at the moment towards that monthly pivot, the 50 EMA, but it's not really showing its hand much more than that. So it can be quite slow even within the range bound, and it's sitting there with 20. What's it sitting at? 34.24 and 34.03. So it's got about 20 pips or so down towards last week's lows there, and into that range. Maybe it could push down a little bit further down to the 31.80. Maybe at some point it'll roll over, but it's a bit of strength coming through for it at the moment. Don't want to be trying to catch the knife though, so just it needs to find some support, give a reversal signal if I was to look at that in any shape or form. So as ever, that's that, and there's news. As I say, there's hardly any. Canadians got Victoria Day today, so have a happy Victoria Day. And for the rest of you, I'll have a look at the S&Ps. The S&Ps fed us on Friday, as they say. Quite all day Friday trading, and then we picked up in the afternoon with nice trade in the S&Ps, because it's becoming to be a bit of a saviour on these quieter forex days. So consolidation in the end on Friday there, inside bar on the Friday. I did wonder if we might have had further downside on this market last week. It's now broken that trend for high lows, high highs through here, but we've got this consolidation phase. Now normally, again, the consolidation from here would push to the upside in what's beginning to be an upward trend there, or is an upward starts of a good start of an upward trend. Would have been probably better if it broken those prior highs from like the previous week, but whatever. So to watch out for today, well, there is a weekly pivot below. Maybe it will come back and test that, and then it's just a case of just seeing how it shapes up here. It looks like the Chinese and US relations over any deal or whatever else looks like it's getting worse and not better. So that may be far off, and that may hit the markets, the stock market again. So maybe the move. I'm just looking here. As ever, wanting to be drawing trend lines across the lows here, and thinking, well, if it starts breaking that area, maybe that weekly pivot's a reasonable target at some point today. Okay, that's it for me. I wish you a great day. Bye for now.